Well, let's get
So,
into it. Look, who's
yeah,
making
let's talk
news?
about marauders in the news. Who's
Oh
marauding, who's
gosh.
not, who's behaving badly?
Well,
What
right
do you
off
want
the
to talk
top of
about?
my head, my man Shannon Sharpe.
Oh,
Uh,
Shannon
it,
Sharp.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Shannon Sharpe. He's a midlifer. He's come a long way. His podcast, Club Shay is very popular. Had a lot of great interviews. He's become a regular on First Take on ESPN. So he's been in the news for quite a while, and he's become very, very, very successful. But with that success, he's gotten into a little bit of trouble. You want to
Right. And I
expound on it a
think some
little
people
bit?
think because of his success, maybe he has a target on his back a little bit, or people are like piling on. But you said you wanted to give him a shout out. So is that saying that you support him? He has these rape allegations and
Well, no, I
he's
don't
saying it's
support.
consensual
I,
sex. It seems like the same old story, right?
right. Well, okay. Let me let me clarify that. I'm giving him a shout out because I do admire his success within the
For
past
sure.
couple of years. Like you said, his podcast is going through the roof. His celebrity, his popularity, and I've liked him as a celebrity. I obviously liked him as a football player.
Oh, he's
Uh,
entertaining for sure.
yeah, for sure. Now, this excuse my French, this fuck shit he's got going on behind the scenes. Obviously, I'm not going to support that. Uh, let's talk
If
about it.
it's
So,
true, right? If
yeah,
it's true.
if it's true, well, he has admitted that obviously, if you don't know, there's a young woman that's been putting out some stuff about him and some phone calls and texts and that sort of thing, and he has admitted that he had a, in his opinion, a consensual relationship
Relationship. Yep.
with this young woman. Now, immediately, the first thing that people are, up in arms about is the age difference. He's 60, maybe he was like 50, I don't know, 57, 58 at the time when they started, when she was 19.
Yeah. So he's
Uh,
56 now. So he's
okay, maybe, yeah,
our
yeah.
age.
Oh, okay, he's 56. I'm sorry. So I thought he was closer to 60, but maybe he was in his early 50s when they first got it going, and she was 19, something like that.
Yeah. 19 is,
Yeah,
that should be a red
uh,
flag right there. No.
well,
Because it's
I,
all gonna, if you're famous and something goes badly, that's gonna come out, right? The age difference.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because you're
Whew,
taking it, they're taking advantage of somebody who is, they say there's this power dynamic, because he's famous and
sure.
he's older and he can take advantage of her. I mean,
Yeah,
you're setting
yeah.
yourself up for trouble, I think, in some ways.
100%. Now, I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. It's that's too large of an age gap. I mean, what his celebrity stats, and again, this is me talking as a man. Like, he's well known. He's wealthy. He's put together well. He's obviously taking care of his body. Uh, pause. But I feel like, why is he dipping down into 19s and 20s? Like, what? Like,
Is it just the
this.
physical, like the physical attraction takes over and you just don't think, you're not thinking
I
with your
guess
head,
so. I
it's
mean,
just like, or
yeah,
it's
thinking with
just
the
too
wrong
much of
head.
a attraction.
Yeah, I, I honestly don't know, Max. There's some psychology to it. It's
Right.
I
So
don't
just
get
because
it.
you're older doesn't mean you're smarter, wiser, right? Or make good
Correct,
decisions. I
correct.
guess that's one of
Yeah,
the
great
the
point.
lessons, right?
That's a great point. But on the flip side, though, I mean, he's getting a lot of flack for this. But I mean, I feel like she deserves a little something too. I mean, as a 19-year-old, now again, she's young, she's impressionable. It may be a bad
Yeah.
chase. I get all that, but I mean,
You
come
think
on.
about yourself when you were 19, like, I was pretty naive and,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I
you
wasn't.
know,
I wasn't even like fully grown as far as like mentally or mature wise, you still have some growing to do at that age. Maybe you're physically an adult, but I don't think you're mentally or maturity wise an adult at that age. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for him. And obviously, he said some things, and I go back to when he was when there was a audio put out of him having some sort of relationship with a woman.
It was like a
prior
leak,
to
right?
that. Yeah, well,
It wasn't
allegedly.
on purpose.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do think that let's just say this: I would not be surprised if he leaked that because there was some talk of him being homosexual, and before that, and his team might have thought, hey, let's put out this leak to show that I am a heterosexual male. So
you
no
think
one can prove
part
that.
of it is like him trying to prove something, or like say,
Maybe let's just say I wouldn't be
but then it
surprised.
got out of control.
Let's just say I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because his thing was I didn't know that I was being recorded, but it was on his feed, his phone.
Yeah, that's a little
You
bit
just
too
can't
convenient.
click like one button and do it. It just doesn't happen accidentally like that. You have to go
Right,
through
and
a process.
he's a he should know because that's his
Right.
job, right? He's a news person. I
100%.
mean, he's a
Yeah.
sportscaster or a
Yeah.
podcaster, all these
Yeah.
things. He
He's on
makes his
social
money
media
from talking.
talking. So at that point, okay, he realized, whoa, okay, I'm in the public now. This is not a good look for me. Well, maybe to him it was a good look, but I'm in the public now. I see how these things can change. I need to sit down. I need to lay low.
Right,
I
lay
need to stay
low.
off my phone, put the phone down, as kids say, blah, blah, blah. And just move in silence. You know what I mean? Move,
Yeah, yeah.
slow. But no. He didn't do that. And, yeah, it's kind of blowing up in his face. He got suspended from ESPN. He's still doing his club Shay. He's still doing his podcast. Again, like you said, I don't know what's true, what's not. I mean, I can only look at it from the surface level. It's a 56-year-old man and this 20-year-old woman, and he's saying all these things, and it's clearly his voice. I don't think he denies that. But is he countersuing her? Do we
I
know
don't
that?
know, but I was
Okay.
looking at like the age of his kids. So his kids are way older than this woman he was
Yeah.
having the relationship with.
Yeah, it's I
I
don't
think they're in their
believe it.
30s.
I wish this young woman well. Obviously she's put this into the light because obviously she feels like he was a threat to her, a danger, and I guess he did some things that she didn't want to happen. But I don't know. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. I'm not saying I'm taking any sides on this, but naturally, when someone is accused of this type of thing, you want to be cautious and you want to be careful and let it legally play out. So,
Right, especially if you have so much to lose, right? So he is
exactly.
countersuing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah.
It's not a
Anyways,
good
he's
look.
countersuing both the plaintiff and her lawyer. So
Yeah, it's not a good look. So,
it's too bad. It's really too
yeah,
bad because
it is.
another kind of role model
Yeah, man. Yeah,
in trouble.
it's
So
not
I
a good
guess one
look.
of the takeaways is it doesn't matter how old you are. You can still
You can still get
mess
caught
up
up
pretty badly.
very badly, very
Yeah.
badly. And when you're a celebrity like that, you've got to be aware of these things, and you've got to be aware of public perception, things getting out, especially when you're dealing with such a young person and they're just so, I'm going to blame this a little bit on his age and
Really?
and what he was
Shouldn't
dealing
he
with.
know
Yeah,
better at his age?
he
Or you think
should, but
it's midlife, it's a like midlife crisis and he's like trying to prove that he's
no,
still young and still got it?
no, I'm going to take it a different direction, Max. I'm going to take it because I think it proves that he's not technically savvy. You know, he had that incident before,
Is that
and now
true?
and he's getting caught up on. He's getting recorded, and bro, come on, you can't be saying these things on the phone. Like
Right, but that's
especially.
still hiding if he actually did rape her. That's, the bottom
Well, of
line is,
course, of
yeah.
course, of course, of course. But I
But it does show that if he really is not technically savvy, that is a common thing for people our
yes,
age and older,
yes,
right? Or
yes,
something that we can use as an excuse,
yes.
But yeah,
Eh,
feel like in his case, it shouldn't be the case. But yeah, people could be
yes.
doing all the tech stuff for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that just makes us look bad
And
as
don't be
midlifers that we're kind of incompetent.
yeah, and don't be grimy on your phone. I mean, you just can't do it now.
Yeah,
People are waiting to, and I'm not saying she did this, but people are there are people that are waiting to use that against you. You know what I mean?
right. They want to see you
So
fall. Yeah.
they want to see you fall, and you just setting the table for them right there and there. And
Well,
again,
that's what Stephen A. Smith said, that people were going after him because of the interview he did with Cat Williams, and kind of
mm-hmm,
people are waiting for that opportunity.
100%, yeah, yeah. And when you're in this business and you know how people move, particularly other celebrities, then you got to move a lot differently.
Right.
You
This
know,
is not new. It's not like this is the
no,
first scandal like this.
right, right, right. So everybody, please be careful out there. Realize that
Be
your
smart.
phone can be used against you as a weapon, but don't do all the grimy shit to begin with. I'm not excusing any of that. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, just your phone can be used as a weapon against you. So
Yeah, and I feel like the
please be very
cutoff for a
careful.
relationship, if somebody's like younger than your kid, that's
Oh
a red
yeah.
flag.
Oh yeah. There's no getting away with that. No, not for sure. But both parties. Hey, prayers up to both parties. I want this to be a good outcome. Obviously, if a crime was committed or that sort of thing, people should be punished for that.
Yep. Hopefully the truth
Crazy.
will prevail and justice will be served. But anyhow, speaking of role models,
Mm-hmm.
I know this was a little while ago, but Lauren Sanchez, Katy Perry, Gail King, others going up in space. Did you find that to be inspiring? Something that was cool if you were, had the
Uh,
opportunity to go up for 10, 11 minutes?
well,
I mean,
we
they got
really
dragged big time, right? I mean,
they
I think
did they
they
did.
totally didn't expect that backlash, right?
But I'm not. Okay, what's the backlash about now? Okay, let me answer your question first. Would I do that? Hell no. I mean, in
Because
light
of
of what
what?
happened,
Just like it's not.
well, I just don't think it's. I'm not willing to put my life. I don't think it's that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I'm not willing to risk my life for that. I think it's cool that people can do that, have the ability to do that, and the means to do that. That's fine. I don't begrudge them for doing that, but I'm not willing to put my life in danger like that. It kind of goes back to that submarine thing, and I know it's a bit different, but I'm not willing to roll the dice. Maybe if I were like 80, okay, I ain't got that much time left. 80, 90. Yeah, I'll jump up in that little rocket and go up in space for 11 minutes. But no, I still got a lot of life to live, and I'm just not willing
yeah, it
to
feels
risk it
risky.
for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. So,
I feel like
but
that too. Like I don't have
yeah,
any desire to go skydiving or anything like that.
yeah, yeah. Was that because we're getting older, or did you ever have a?
Uh, I think I'm not. Yeah, I guess I'm not a thrill seeker in that way, but I think
Yeah,
also the risk. I also think like if you die skydiving or something, people will be like, "I told you so." You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
I feel like it's like,
That's true.
okay, that was your
That's true.
choice. You shouldn't have. It's one thing if you die, in another way, but when you're
Right.
taking that risk. But I mean, I also admire people who take big risks and are thrill seekers, and
Yeah.
so
It's just
it's
not
just
for
not
me.
for me. But this
Yeah,
wasn't
hundred
like a
percent.
thrill seeking thing. I mean, it's fairly safe, right?
I guess so. I mean, I laugh.
Supposedly.
I laugh because they were in space for what, like you said, 11 seconds, 12 seconds.
Yeah, 11 minutes. Yeah.
Oh,
I
11
actually
minutes. I'm
thought,
sorry.
because I had heard about it from my husband and I was,
Right.
I thought it was a bigger deal than
Right.
it actually was, like I
Right.
thought they were going to the moon or something.
Oh no.
Because it was
Yeah.
it was really like hyped up, right?
Right. Right.
Like it was hyped up, like they were doing something amazing and, you know, something that
Mhm.
nobody had ever done before. And I guess technically it's somewhat true. I think there's other women who went up into the atmosphere in the past,
Right.
but um they really got dragged. I think because of how they positioned it. They made a big deal about their space outfits and um how much it meant, and they had the little clips of Katy Perry with her little flower of her daisy, and I guess she sang while she was up there, and but it was such a short time, right?
Yeah.
And I think it diminished their accomplishments otherwise, right? And it was like this a group that like kind of they put it together in a way that would seem to be meaningful. It felt very
Mhm.
what's the word? Contrived, right?
Gotcha.
Like they really were looking at this from a publicity point of view. Like this was a publicity stunt. But
Well,
I think
I'm
it
gonna differ
flopped.
with you. I'm gonna differ with you a little bit on that. I mean, they're celebrities. So it's not like they were civilians or astronauts.
There's
I
a
mean,
couple of them that were. Like there's one woman who
well,
actually
I'm talking
have
about the ones that we know. Obviously, Lauren
right, like Katy
Sanchez,
Perry and
Gail
Gail King, yeah.
King. Yeah, so they're gonna do celebrity stuff while they're up there. I don't know why that's so shocking.
Right.
Like they were talking about their outfits and their hair and makeup. I mean, but that's who they are. That's how they live their lives. So I didn't really get the flack of it per se. I didn't really care one way or the other. Um, I think it's, if you have the means and opportunity to do that and you want to do it and you're crazy enough to do it and rich enough to do it, by all means, go ahead and do it in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But I guess there was no skill involved. I think that was part
No,
of it. Like
they were just
what are they
passengers.
using their platform for? What are they saying, right? Like, oh, I can go up into space because I'm famous,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and why is that? And I guess when all these horrible things are going on in the world, that's why people were critical of it, right? Like it was like the Marie Antoinette moment, like let them eat cake, right? Like we're up here,
Really?
on this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
people were saying, right? Like why are they so out of touch? But some
Because they're
people, I think
billionaires.
what they were trying to say is that this was a breakthrough or an accomplishment for women,
Okay. So okay. No, all right. So let's break that down. Okay. They're billionaires or close to it, right? So they're gonna do things that us peons, and I don't mean to call us peons, but you know what I mean,
commoners.
commoners, they're thinking differently than we do.
Right, right.
We're trying to make it day by day. We're trying to make it to retirement, little savings, take
But
care
I
of
think
the
that's the
kids.
point why people were criticizing them.
But billionaires do this shit all the time. Like
Right.
we can't even get into their headspace of you know what they're thinking and what they're doing. I don't care. I don't understand the flag at all. I really don't. Hey, listen, you give me $1 billion, I'm gonna do some wild shit too. That people are like, what? Why is he doing that? Because I can
Right, because
and I
they're
want
pushing the
to.
envelope and doing something,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now with
bold.
now I don't know if they were pushing like this is a breakthrough for women or I don't.
I think they were
What's the
saying that was a
breakthrough?
first, right?
Okay.
They
Well,
were
all
really
right.
trying to make it into a big deal, and maybe that was
Right.
part of the what failed is how they were
Mm-hmm.
trying to, make it into a bigger deal than it was,
Right.
or
Right.
kind of forcing the message on people. So
See, I didn't pick up on that, and I apologize for my lack of research on that. I didn't pick up on that, nor if I had seen it, I wouldn't have cared either way. I mean, it's not a big deal for me. It wouldn't have been a breakthrough for me. Maybe I'm not the demographic they were looking to press or whatever. Uh,
I think the backlash was what made it interesting, the whole
right, right.
event or the whole phenomenon, because I
Well,
think people remember it because of that. you know?
Well, I guess so. Yeah. Well, listen, I say kudos to them. You know, they had means and opportunity to do it. I wouldn't have done it, but I'm not a billionaire or whatever. So
Yeah, and I hope they just move on. You know, they tried
yeah, let's move
something
on.
new and maybe it didn't
That's
work
something
out,
new.
but
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of trying something and being a billionaire, I think we should touch on this Will Smith album. What's it called again?
it's called on a
True
based on a
story.
true story.
Okay.
So that
Do we want to go
it came
there?
out in March, I think.
Okay.
But it's just starting to, you know, people are reviewing it. People are saying that it only sold a few copies in the
Oh, really?
UK or in Europe. Yeah, I guess they're still counting that. I don't know if people are selling CDs or what there, but in Europe. But he's going on a European tour, I
European
believe,
tour.
UK, and yeah.
Okay. So I'll be honest with you,
So
Max. This wasn't on my radar at all until you brought it up. It
I
doesn't
don't.
come up.
It's interesting. It's not like being promoted as like you have to listen to it for sure, right?
Well, yeah. And it didn't come. It doesn't come up on my algorithm for sure. I'm
It
not
doesn't
sure.
either in mine.
I'm not sure why, because obviously he's a midlifer, he's a marauder, and he's marauding. So we got to give him credit for
Yes, it's his
marauding.
first album in 20 years.
Oh wow! Well, shout out to Will
Yeah,
Smith. Shout out to him.
yeah, and
All
he's
right,
56 also.
56. There you go. So good on him. You want me to start first on my
Yeah, go ahead.
on our little
I'm curious to see what
midlife
you
marauders
thought.
album review?
Yes.
Let me pull up the album. Make sure I got it going on here. All right, so I'm gonna say this. Going into it, I had very little expectations of this. Okay, and
Because
just because of his recent history, I think he's become somewhat out of touch. Okay, and I don't really begrudge him for that, because when you're a celebrity and live that sort of lifestyle and you have all this money, I think you do lose a little bit of touch of what's really going on in the world. And I don't blame him for that. You know what I'm saying?
so
He
out
can't.
of touch just because he's kind of in this upper echelon or
Yeah.
because
He just doesn't
okay,
have right. He's just not living
he's not
a
of the
normal
people, right?
life of the people.
Yeah.
He's not living a normal life. You know, I'm not saying he doesn't have normal problems, and he pointed that out on the album. He goes through pain and love and everything else other people do, but just on a different way. Okay, so I started listening to this, and immediately I regretted
I could have
it.
felt the
Okay,
same way.
I was like, "What in the world am I listening to?" Just to the intro, I don't like it when maybe I'm. You know what? I think I'm becoming an anti-intro and anti-skip person.
Right, like a theme or yeah.
Yeah, that sounds old. Very curmudgeonly. So, all right, I apologize for
But
that.
why
But
don't you like it? Because it's kind of been done too much,
yes,
or
yeah, I think it's been done
it's
too
kind
much.
of
Yeah,
cheesy.
yeah, I would agree. And then he started using like voices. He changed his voice. He sounded like an
So
old
was that
man or
one song all
something.
him? I guess in the video it is all him, right? Where he's the barbershop song where he's
Yeah,
saying all these
yeah. I didn't even watch the video.
POVs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
yeah. So,
That was like saying all the stuff about all the gossip or all the news people what people are
yeah,
saying about him.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, he got right into that. Uh, so that kind of stuff just immediately turned me off. And I was listening to it as I worked out today, and it wasn't helping my workout at all. And I almost decided to just not listen to it. Then I got to around track 5 or I'm gonna say track 6, Hard Times featuring Tiana Taylor.
I kept hoping it would get better, right? Or like there's one
Well,
song I'm like,
well,
"Oh, okay."
well, it
You
did.
thought it did?
It did. In my opinion, I really was rocking with track 6, 7, 8,
And was it because of the music, or because, like, for
9.
me, it was a little bit like, oh, you got somebody featured and they sound better. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Well,
kind of.
the features,
I wanted like
de-
a respite from it. It was like, give
right.
me something current.
No, the features definitely help. But he just started rapping at around like 5, 6, 7, and 8. He just started
Yeah.
rapping, and it wasn't like preachy rap. It wasn't like really him
Wasn't
talking
boastful rap.
boastful. It wasn't what he did at the beginning, like, I acknowledge that I've had all these issues and da la la. He was just rapping. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it was like, okay,
Which
now
one was that? Tantrum? I like Tantrum, or that was probably the one I
Tantrum
liked
was
the
good.
best.
Yeah, Johnny Lucas is very good. The one with Big Sean I thought was good. So
Yeah.
he got into his bag a little bit around 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think 9 if I remember correctly. So he just like, okay, now he's flowing. Now the beats are good. He's gotten into a good routine. He's not like preaching at us or
Trying too
saying,
hard.
just trying too hard. No weird voices, and I was really rocking with it. And I was like, okay, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. And and that's what I shouldn't say that. I thought it was good. Let me just say it wasn't. How old is he? 56? You said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
he's
for
just a tad
56
older than us.
56-year-old, I was like, man, okay, he's not really sounding 56. He's sounding like a good rapper should sound like. And
Like confident, yeah.
yeah, confident. He's with the flow. The flow is good. The rhythm is good. Whoever the features are good. It's a good balance. So I was really rocking with it. And then we get down to like 11, 12. It gets somewhat sermony again.
Yeah, I don't like the
And I
sermons.
was like, throw that shit in the garbage. If I, here's what the young kids do. I don't know if you're aware of this. I probably should start doing this too. Well, I don't know, so young kids, but I don't really mess with the albums. Like, I don't
Right.
like
I don't think
delete
anybody
stuff.
does that anymore, right?
Well,
Nobody
no,
listens to an
no.
album straight through.
Well,
I don't.
what I'm trying to say is, Max, what I found out people are doing is they'll delete, like, they'll have a playlist of whatever
Mm-hmm.
this album is, right? Well, they'll just start removing the songs that they don't like, right?
Oh,
So
really?
oh yeah. So I say maybe
Let me
5
try that.
songs on this I'll like. I could take those other songs off, right? I
Oh,
could
yeah.
delete
Hide
it.
in this album. That's what
Yes,
you
hide in
do.
the
Okay.
album, right? And there are people that maybe not even like the cover art and just change the cover art too.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
yeah. So would I play this album again? Probably not. Probably not. I would probably go back and listen to maybe those 5 tracks, and I would probably re-listen to those. But the
Yeah,
other
so you
stuff,
make it your
throw in
own
the garbage.
album, right? And
Make
you
it your
cut
own.
out the stuff you don't like.
You curate your own
Yes.
Will Smith.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah. So
I like that.
I don't think it's straight trash. I think some songs are trash, but I think there are about 4 or 5 songs that you could still probably rock to and have a good time.
Yeah, he got a lot of the reviews were bad. But so, I mean, the fact that he's not touring in the US, I mean, I don't know if there are plans to do that later. I thought that's interesting, right? Like, does he think
Mm-hmm.
it's just he's so reviled in the US still after the
Right.
slap, But
He talked about being canceled and cancel culture and all that other stuff. I think he made a dig at Jay-Z. I don't know if you picked up on that. Did you pick up on that?
I do remember something about Jay-Z
Like
or
Jay-Z
yeah, and
having one classic album.
yeah, but I will have to look that up because I kind of felt like
Yeah,
it wasn't a diss. It was more like he was comparing himself
he
to Jay-Z,
was.
which I was like, what?
He was. Well, that was the point of though. He compared himself to Jay-Z talking about he had one classic album like Jay-Z. And I think Jay-Z
Yeah.
fans and Jay-Z would argue that he has had more than one
Yeah.
classic
I
album.
think
So I
that's
found that to be funny.
maybe
I'm
not
going to do
smart.
some research and see if he gets any clap back for that. But
Yeah.
my album review, 1 out of 5, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably lower than that, but like I hate it when I hear a rap song and it's got like a word that just like stands out to me. That's like, why did you put that in? Like Bassett Tracin. He tried to rhyme something with Bassett Tracin. I was
All
like,
right,
no,
man.
please.
Are you serious?
I mean, I like things that sound like poetry and sound good, but I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, you're trying too hard to rhyme that. But anyhow, I would
Mhm.
say that it's brave of him to put out the album. I read somewhere that he's going to put out 2 more this year.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
so maybe he's got a lot to say. So good for
It
him.
is. And I feel bad too because, obviously we grew up with Will Smith. He's our age and we want to see, people our age do well and excel. And I want to cheer for him. And I not cheer for him. I want his sales to go up. I want him to do well. Obviously it's just my opinion. Maybe people out there differ. Maybe they think this is a great album. I don't. But
I mean, it's
I'm not
hard
gonna.
because it's so different from his earlier work, because I was
Mhm.
listening and then like Miami came on and I was like, oh, this is fun and boppy, and I wasn't a big fan anyhow growing up, but
Right.
it's hard because people are going to
Right.
judge you. People are
Right.
always going to try to critique you. And speaking of, we also wanted to talk about people judging John Cena. So
My
I
man,
want to
John
transition to talking about
Cena.
him. But anyhow, with Will Smith,
Yes.
good trying to bounce back and best of luck
Best of luck.
in
Best of luck.
Europe.
Well, I think it's cool that you mentioned John Cena. Full disclosure, I'm still a wrestling fan. I mean,
Do you go to WWE? Do you go to
I've been
see
to a
them?
few events. I've been
Oh,
to a few
good. I've
events.
never
Yeah,
been.
yeah. Uh, yeah, that was something probably, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years ago. I would have denied or tried to keep, under the cover.
Now you embrace it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they've come a long
You
way
own it.
with how it's marketed and how it's brought to the table. Obviously it's on Netflix now and on Peacock, so it's more like wide streamed, I guess.
Right.
I was
So
actually,
so now that it's accepted, you're willing
yeah,
to
well,
admit
not
that
so
you
much
watch.
accepted. I mean, who cares? I don't care if anybody really thinks of it. I like it. I grew up on it. I was a child of the, NWA, WCW, back in the day in the 80s. That was like soap operas for me. Just and I kind of
That's
kept up.
interesting.
Yeah, I kind of kept up with it. It's kind of like a soap opera. You ever watch a soap opera like when you were a kid or whatever?
Yeah, of course. I watched
And then
Guiding
my
Light,
I was a big like NBC
Days of Our
guy,
Lives,
Days of Our Lives. So it's
General
like
Hospital. When do we
one
have
of those.
time for all that?
Well, when we're homesick from school or
Yeah.
something like that. But it's like one of those things. Like I feel like I haven't seen Days of Our Lives in probably 20 years. Right?
Yeah, me
Is
neither.
it even on still? I don't even know.
I don't
I feel,
know.
but I feel like if I tried to watch it now, it wouldn't take me too long to like catch up because I like us. Those soap opera actors, they stay on those shows. They might leave,
Yeah.
but they come back, so you still recognize a lot of faces, and you get right back into it. It's
Right.
kind
You
of
can
like
just
that,
jump back in. It's
right? Jump back.
fun.
It's kind of like that with wrestling. And the old guys will leave, and they'll go do movies like Cena and The Rock and all this other stuff, Hulk Hogan, blah blah blah. But they always find their way to come back. So the reason why we're mentioning John Cena is because what is he? 48, I believe. Yeah,
Yep. He's
just turned
48.
48. So he had talked openly. He was on the Pat McAfee show, and now he's this heel character, which I think is cool because people have never thought that he would turn heel. He's always been a good guy, but now he's a heel, and he's
Oh,
talking about
that's what that meant. I didn't really
yes.
get that.
Okay, well, I'm here to school you on that. Anything you need
You
to know
mean
about
he
wrestling,
turned
I got
heel
you.
during the matches? I mean, I saw
He,
some video of
right.
something happening like that where he
Well,
was the bad guy, but
right. He turned heel. It wasn't actually. It was after a match when he got approached by Cody Rhodes, who's a baby face. So that's the opposite of a heel. Good guys called baby
okay.
face. Bad guys called heel. So John Cena won the Royal Rumble, which that winner entitles him to a title shot against the champ. And the champ
Okay.
is Cody Rhodes, right? And Cody Rhodes always, he just said that John Cena is his hero. He's a legend. He's a GOAT, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they were in the ring. The Rock was in the ring too. The Rock is a heel now.
Yeah, I think
And
I saw that video. Yeah.
right, he's the
I didn't know
final
what was
boss.
going on,
Love
but
that. It's called the final boss.
no
Love that
idea what was
promo.
going on.
I got you. So anyway, there was they were talking, and then Cody Rhodes decided to do a very heel thing to do, which was to basically hit him in the nuts, hit
Mhm.
Cody Rhodes in the nuts. So there has always been this talk of John Cena's act getting a little bit stale. How can you be such a
Mhm.
good guy all the time? Generally in wrestling, people will change. Not the good guys don't always stay good guys, and the bad guys don't always stay bad
So it's
guys.
like a transformation, evolution.
Right.
Wait, so did he really hit him in the nuts or was it like all fake?
Well, I mean, it's from appearances, it looks like him.
Okay. Yeah. So it's
Obviously, they're
they're
trained not to
acting.
do that much. Yes.
Yeah.
So he hit him in the nuts. Everybody's shocked. Like John Cena is fine. He turned heel. Oh my God. He does all this Make-A-Wish stuff. I think he's one of the leaders in like Make-A-Wish, like granting
Yeah, but
wishes
people know
to
that that's an
yeah.
act, right? It's not like in real life he's turning heel, is he? It's just for
Well,
the
his attitude, I mean, he's an actor, so his attitude is very convincing. Now he's
You mean outside of
so
the ring too?
outside of the ring, yes, outside the ring. So he's doing interviews and he's still portraying this guy like I don't care what the crowd thinks of me anymore.
Uh-huh.
They'll boo me, they'll cheer me, blah blah blah. So he's not catering to the audience, the crowd anymore. He's doing his
Oh,
thing.
interesting. Except in that Pat McAfee show, that episode, right?
No, no. He was still in his performative heel persona during that show.
Okay,
But
so let's talk about what
okay,
happened, right?
okay. So this is what happened. So it kind of goes in line with that. He was saying that he has been getting roasted by the fans because of his hair loss. Right?
Right.
He has had a noticeable bald spot for I don't know, for about 2 or 3 years, right?
Right.
And it's only gotten worse. So he claims that actually has a part of him having his heel turn that is because the fans bullied him into getting hair transplants because they were talking so much shit about his bald spot,
Right.
right? So
Right. But he did
then
it.
he did it. So he admitted on Pat McAfee, and most men don't admit to having hair, doing any kind
Hair transplants. Yeah.
of any kind of cosmetic thing to them, which I think now is changing, and I think John Cena has a part in that. Men are willing to admit now that they've gone through procedures, and I think that's cool. So, and I think it's cool that he admitted, yeah, I've gotten hair transplant, and then, you could tell now. You still see a little bit of a bald spot, but he's saying his hair is growing now and it's covered up. So anyway, he got a little bit of flack from that, and I'm not sure why,
He
because he
got
said
flack for talking to the crowd. Like,
no. He got flack for saying the fans bullied him into him
oh,
getting like it
like he
affected his feelings so much that he
right.
decided to get it. And I'm like, okay, I forget the young lady. It was a podcaster that said,
Yeah.
"How the hell does John Cena get bullied into
It
getting
was
hair transplants?
Navarro
Not even real."
from The View. Yeah.
But I think that's so short sighted. Like, no matter what your celebrity status is, you're still a human being. You still have feelings. You still care about what people think. And I think, and she was saying it was bullshit that he got bullied into getting hair
Right,
transplants.
like he
Well,
couldn't
maybe
get
that was
bullied because he's such a
right.
tough guy, and he's so
Yes,
successful. Yeah, that was a
yes.
but now that you're telling me all this stuff about him turning heel or um now, because I felt sorry for him when I saw the video, like he was sincere about having his feelings hurt. But
Right.
now if it's all part of an act, then I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe
But
maybe it
but
is
is
just
it
an
though?
act and that he
But is it though? Maybe now we're seeing the real John Cena
yeah, but
because
then
he had
why do
always
you
been
just give in then?
well, no,
And
maybe he decided he had enough. He's always been well. He did a little period when early in his career when he wasn't like this, but he's always he's been portrayed as kind of like a Boy Scout. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe he's just sick of all that. You know, like I would be tired of it too. Like to be perceived as like, you know, I'm a goody two shoes. I'm doing all, you
Right,
know, I can do no wrong. Blah blah blah. I have no, you know, things can't affect me. You know, I'm all about this
right.
hustle,
And he has to
loyalty,
hold
and
everything
respect.
in.
And he's got to
Yeah.
hold that weight up. And he's like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the fans dictating, you know, what I can and cannot do. I'm tired of the pressure of being this gooder than whatever person. No, I'm gonna let my true feelings out. I'm gonna tell the fans like, oh shit, I don't care about what y'all think of me.
Yeah,
And
but then
I think
the
it's
fact that
cool.
he let it bother him enough to do it, that's kind of, I don't know. Then it comes across as him
That's
not having control of his life, which
no, that's
maybe,
vulnerability in my book. He's like,
yeah, I don't know. It's funny
you don't
because
think
you
so?
looked at all the other guys on that show, they had no idea how to react to that.
Right,
Because he did seem like he was sincerely talking about how he felt and how he felt,
right.
bullied and
Well,
upset about it, and
I
they
don't
tried
think
to
he should
laugh
have
it
used.
off.
I don't think he should have used the word bully. No, I mean that's a little bit too strong. I think he should have just said, "Listen, I was affected by what the fans and the WWE universe was saying about my hair loss. Obviously, you know, I felt a certain way about me getting going bald, and I wanted to change it. And I think it's cool that he admitted. I'm all about people admitting, you can keep it to yourself, whatever. But I think it's cool when people say, listen, you know what? I didn't like the way I was looking, so I decided to get
Right.
Botox.
I think he should have took more
Own
ownership of
it.
it,
I think he
I
did.
heard what the fans were saying and
Yes.
they're
I don't think he should have
assholes,
used the
but
word bully. I don't think he should have used the
right.
word bully.
Right.
Yeah,
There's some
that
assholes
we can
out
agree
there
on that.
who
Right.
jump on, any celebrity,
Right.
but this was
Right.
my choice.
Right.
I understand that you have to look good when you're on TV, so
Right.
own up to some of that.
Yeah. And I like I said, I think it's cool. Like, hey man out there, if you're listening, own it. If you want to get hair transplant, do it. If you want to get veneers, do it. If you want to get Botox, do it. If that's what you want to do it. I'm all
Yeah, but
supportive.
don't blame your fans. That is
Yeah,
a
I think
good
that's a
point
good point.
though. Yeah, that is a good point. Just own it. Yeah.
There you go. Own it. I
And
love
speak
that.
up. So it was, yeah. So it's good. I think it sparked conversation and hopefully made it more acceptable, for
Yes.
people to admit. There was that I was telling you earlier about the statistic is that by the age of 50, almost like 85% of men will have significantly thinning hair, and that's according to the American Hair Loss Association. So it should be kind of accurate, but I mean, that's a big percentage. So I mean, bring visibility to that, and just, or
Yeah.
make it okay to be bald, or balding.
I think the social norm now is bald is cool. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think it's
shave it
it's
off.
cool to be bald. Shave it off. It's so funny because I get into a almost a regular dialogue with my contemporaries, men who do not have hair, right? And
Because they
they all
lost it and
they
they
lost it,
shaved it. Okay.
They lost it, they shaved it, they're rocking bald heads, and they come up to me and they say, "Well, you're so fortunate to still have all your hair."
Yeah.
And you
Because of
know
the
what my
stigma, right?
well, No, I think it's bullshit. Because here's why. I think it's cool to be bald.
If you can pull it off.
I think if you have a good head, pause, and you could rock a bald head. But to me, it's like the grass is greener thing, right? So they look at me and they say, "Well, you've got all your hair. I lost my hair 10 years ago. I'm 50 or whatever. I'm balding. I'm thinning." And they're like, "All right, well, you're thinning, you're balding. Just shave it off, right? Bald is cool." I'm like, I wish I still had hair like you. And
it is kind of grass is always greener. But if people had a choice to have hair or no hair, which one do you think they would pick?
I think they would pick hair, but here's the caveat to it, though. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I have hair, but it's white. So, I'm going to have... Well, I can't dye it. No.
But you could, if what you're saying is that...
I could, but... And I did. Full disclosure, there was probably a 5 to 8 year window when I would dye my hair. But it became too much. You got to keep up with it. If you let it, if you don't,
it's a pain in the ass.
It goes gray, and then like, one day you were kind of gray, and the next year like totally dark. No, and then
and I think it's not good for your health. Certain dyes are not good for your health too.
Well, so here's the thing: these bald men, they come up to me and say, "Well, I wish I still had my hair." Well, do you? Because are you willing to rock a full head of gray hair? Are you at that level? Like, I think beards are like, I'm growing into the fact that my beard is getting grayer, right? And I'm fine with that. It is what it is. But my hair, which is covered up now because I need a haircut, is getting a little too gray for me. I'm not going to dye it anymore. I'm just going to rock with it. But I look at these bald men like, look, if I had a well-proportioned head like yours, I probably would cut this shit off, to be honest.
Interesting.
So it's weird when they.
So it is the grass is always greener. People are not satisfied necessarily with how they look. Yeah, and I think men have insecurities too, and so.
100%. And kudos to John Cena. Shout out to John Cena. Hey, keep getting those hair plugs. It looks good. It was a funny sight to see a gigantic hole in the back of his head where hair should be. So I'm glad he got that.
Ooh, you're saying it was funny.
It was funny.
You wouldn't like him no matter what, or you wouldn't respect him no matter what.
Hey, it just looked weird. It just looked odd. He's built like a superhero. Good looking.
Yeah, but that's why we have to change what the image is of a perfect superhero, which is actually making me think it's funny that you like MCU and you like WWE. Interesting. It's all about those superheroes.
Hey, what's funny too is because Sunday was not last Sunday. Sunday before that was WrestleMania, and I actually left a group of friends to go home and watch WrestleMania. So I was leaving this establishment, and I was walking out, and there was this young lady. She couldn't have been more than 21, 22. She was talking to another girl. And she was saying how she had to go. And I'm walking by them, and she said, "Yeah, I got to go home and watch WrestleMania." And I was like, "Whoa!" And I said to her, "That's so funny. So am I." And it was like, and then I just kept on walking. And I was like, I probably should have said that, but it was so cool that the younger generation, again, it's because now it's on, Peacock.
Wait, how young was she?
She couldn't have been more than 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you couldn't date her. She's too young.
No. We're not, nope. No. I'm not gonna Shannon Sharpe myself. But anyway, Max, I want to close out with this. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I just need a little quick blurb. In a fight, who you got? Silverback gorilla or 100 men? Go.
Ooh. I would say, I know a lot of people say silverback gorilla, but I would say 100 men, just because some men can be really nasty and cruel.
All right,
and vicious.
All right, well, that's the show. Thank you guys for listening.
Wait, you didn't say who you think.
Oh, I come on. It's a silverback gorilla. I don't even think it's close, to be honest with you. Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Midlife Marauders. Follow us on social media and wherever you stream your podcast.
We also want to give a big shout out to Frank Moyne at Moyne Music for providing the beats for our theme music. And to our listeners, keep on marauding and see you next time.